Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com. Welcome to our weekly Top 5 Friday ski industry news videos. Before we jump into this week's news, just a couple quick announcements. We just wrapped up our 2022 ski test. That's the 5th annual Skiessentials.com ski test. Big thanks to all the testers, all the brands. Huge thanks to Stowe Mountain Resort for accommodating us and allowing us to have the event. It was a little different this year. We had to kind of spread things out, spread out people and brands due to COVID concerns. But yeah, it was a great 3 days of testing skis. We have a ton of stuff to share with you later this summer, so you can look forward to that. Another quick reminder, we're still in the month of March, so you still have about a week, more like 6 days left to enter photos into the March Ski Happy photo contest. K2 is the sponsor this month, giving away a pair of Wayback or Talkback 96 skis. So yeah, good way to win a pair of touring skis that maybe you can put to use this spring after resorts close or something like that. It is, ski season feels like it's winding down here in Stowe. We've had some warm weather, although we've had some fantastic spring ski days. So yeah, really fun time of year to be out on skis. And with that, I think we can get straight into the news. Not a huge week for ski industry news, nothing like super in-depth, so I think we'll get through it pretty quickly as we have in the past couple weeks. That's a wrap on the FIS World Cup Alpine season. It doesn't feel like too long ago that we were sitting here speculating whether the season would even happen and, what it would look like. And I think all things considered, I think it went really well. We had a lot of good ski racing. There were some ups and downs and some fun stories to follow. And yeah, I think it was a very entertaining ski season, especially considering that we're living through this pandemic, which hopefully we're soon putting behind us, I suppose. But just some quick notes on how the season wrapped up. Mikaela Shiffrin had another two more really good races. She picked up a second in the final giant slalom and slalom races. So pretty cool to see Mikaela on the podium. Paula Moltzen picked up another top 10. She was 7th in slalom. Nina O'Brien was 12th in giant slalom. And then we have all of our overall results now too. I think this is really cool. Despite injury, Ryan Cochran-Siegel actually finished 22nd in overall point standings. So that's really promising considering he actually missed a big bulk of the season. He put out some good results earlier in the year. Hopefully he's able to get back to full form and kind of pick up where he left off next season. We could see some great results from Ryan. Mikaela Shiffrin ended up 4th in the overall standings, which I think is phenomenal, considering the speculations about how her season might go and what it will take her to kind of get back to her true self. And then she also was 2nd in the slalom and giant slalom standings. So really cool to see. Paula Moltzen finished 2nd in the parallel slalom overall standings. Breezy Johnson was 4th in downhill overall standings. So a great season for Breezy. We've talked about her quite a bit this year. And then those two actually finished pretty respectably in the overall standings as well. Breezy was 17th and Paula was 21st. So really good to see. I think it's the U.S. women's team is looking really good right now, and I think we'll see a lot of good results out of them in seasons to come, which is going to be fun to watch. But yeah, a great season. And just huge congrats to all of the U.S. athletes, all of the racers in general, and I suppose specifically kind of, those few people that we talked about that really had standout seasons this year. So great skiing, great entertainment too. Second topic of the week, Freeride World Tour is all wrapped up as well. We had that final stop in Verbier. We talked about this last week. kind of like I did last week, I'm not going to talk about the final results because I would encourage you to watch the final stop. Verbier is an insane venue, a lot of really good skiing. One of the highlights to me was there's a huge double stager in that venue that a few different skiers hit. If you watch some of the highlights or if you watch the full recap, which we included, you'll see a lot of those shots, and there are some point of view shots as well, which are just wildly intimidating. Just such crazy high speed coming out of that second drop. I will say that U.S. rookie Ross Tester, he did land on the overall podium, which is huge. You know, he kind of took the tour by storm this year as a newcomer and skied really, really well. So I'll just leave you with that. You can find out for yourself where specifically he fell on that podium. And then just a big, general kudos to the Freeride World Tour event organizers for pulling it off. It was a tough season for them. A lot of uncertainties, a lot of unknowns. There was a lot of kind of scrambling to figure things out, even like as they were in the season. So yeah, hats off to them for making it happen. I think kind of like the World Cup Tour, it definitely went a lot better than it could have, all things considered. Third topic of the week, kind of moving away from competitive skiing here. I bet a lot of you have seen this announcement because it was pretty hyped up, and then I think it's been shared quite a bit since they made the announcement. But Vail has announced a 20% price drop on their Epic Pass. That means a full Epic Pass now is $783, down from $979. An Epic Local Pass is $583, down from $729. So pretty significant price drops there. And then they also added what they're calling an Epic Day Pass. So that's allowing skiers to pick and choose like 7 days or less, which would reduce the cost of a day ticket, as low as about $74 per day, which again is like a pretty significant discount compared to the typical just window ticket prices, or even if you just ordered a single ticket online. So that's big news. I think both of those things are big news and could have a profound effect on what pass people choose and where they go skiing. And as with anything, there's a balance to achieve here. I think on one side you have the concern of crowd sizes. We've seen that probably more this season than any past seasons with like restrictions on lift occupancy and stuff like that. We've had some really long lift lines here at Stowe. So it's hard to think about more people than that. But I think, a big reason why it felt that way was the restrictions of the pandemic. But that is a concern that some people have raised, is what is this going to do to crowd size? The other side of the perspective is it's really good to make skiing more accessible for more people. They're reducing the financial barriers to entry here, which in theory should help more people experience the sport of skiing. So it's a delicate balance, and only time will tell kind of what this does to the skiing experience or the guest experience at a Vail-owned resort. But I will say that I think it's a pretty significant price drop, or significant enough that it's going to change some people's buying habits. So yeah, pretty big news out of Vail Resorts. And then another kind of ski industry topic for this final topic, Colorado Sun has a really good article about kind of how the ski industry is transitioning out of the pandemic. Vail Resorts has already announced that they are dropping their reservation system for next year. I think the reservation system largely worked really well. I think it accomplished the job that they needed it to, which was largely contact tracing. That was basically how they were tracking who was at the resort on any given day. And reducing the total amount of people on the mountain, although it didn't really feel like it was reducing the total amount of people on the mountain. And then Altera CEO Rusty Gregory, he kind of chimed in and cited the digital guest experience that's come out of the pandemic. So a lot of resorts, a lot of organizations, not just in the ski industry, just across the board worldwide, made a lot of fundamental changes in their overall guest experience or customer experience. So in this sense, they put a lot of resources and development into the ability to order food off your phone, rent your gear off your phone, buy your tickets off your phone, just reducing the overall amount of in-person, person-to-person communication. And they believe that that's really improved the overall guest experience. So it's pretty cool to think about just how the pandemic has affected our lives and some of the positives that have come out of it. I think it just as a society, it kind of forced people to take a step back and kind of reevaluate and figure out different ways to accomplish the same goals. And it's pretty cool that in a lot of ways, or in a lot of situations, you can pull benefits out of that even as we kind of, get the population vaccinated and hopefully move out of this pandemic situation. So pretty interesting stuff. I do think next year is going to feel a lot more normal. It'll probably feel a lot more like last year than it will this year. But I do think there will be some things that carry over, like those digital guest experience things. So yeah, I'll be happy when we can load 4 people on the 4Runner quad at Stowe and not have to make reservations and get back to a more social vibe on the mountain. I think will be a lot of fun. And then finally, we have our edits of the week, as we always end with. First one is the full broadcast of the Freeride World Tour Verbier stop. So like I said, I didn't give anything away except for the one podium finish. So head on over and watch that if you have time. It's extremely entertaining. And I will say that it seems really long when you start watching one of those things, but the amount of time in between each skier is usually very consistent to the point where it's pretty easy to kind of skip ahead if you just want to see the skiing action. The second edit of the week is a short film called Bliss. Boy, I'm not speaking correctly today. Called Bliss by Ant Films. Really, really good little film. It's got a really cinematic vibe, some really cool shots, some really unique shots. And then third edit of the week is an episode of Red Bull's Backyards series with Ariana Tricome, who's a pretty successful Freeride World Tour competitor herself. So that's really cool, kind of get to see behind the scenes of what her lifestyle is like and where she skis and how she lives in general. And yeah, that's it for Top 5 Fridays this week. Hopefully there's still some great skiing where you are. I know a lot of places are actually getting some significant snowfall right now. And then, yeah, here on the east, we're more in a corn snow spring skiing routine, a little corn snow cycle. So, yeah, hopefully you're able to get out on snow this weekend, and maybe we'll see you out there on the slopes.